And welcome back, everyone, to another new version of How to Introduce. This week, we said it last week, we're going to do the Illuminati for the MCU. We will eventually switch this up from Marvel.
Yeah.
Maybe do some DC stuff, maybe some comic stuff, maybe some other TV shows and all that sort of jazz. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But for right now, we're going to do the Illuminati. And before we start, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Mitch692. And once again, I'm joined by Sean.
What's up? You can follow me here. Nowhere else.
Only here. So, right. I think this is going to be an interesting one because there's several ways you can take something like the Illuminati. You can either just go full-blown comic team or you can go slightly different. I have a sneaking suspicion that one of us will end up doing both somehow. I have no idea what route you went, but a part of me tells me we're gonna. Actually, you can't really do comic route thinking about it because
yeah.
But you can kind of fudge it a little bit. But right. As always, start off with director. So I'm gonna let you go first in that one.
I was thinking David Fincher, man, because like he does some interesting dark stuff.
Hmm.
And I went to him because I rewatched Seven last night. And like I was just like he could pull off the dark. I mean, even like his stuff like that, the social media stuff. Like if you look at it, it's very dark in tone and like very cynical, and like he's got some fluffy movies too. But like I think Seven is what really made me interested to see what he can do with like characters like
Yeah.
these. But yeah, that's who I got.
That is a. I like that one. I like that one a lot. I went for someone slightly different. Slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like their last movie would lend that the tone of it would lend itself quite well to an Illuminati movie. That's Bong Joon-ho.
Okay.
Parasite, Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
No,
That'd be interesting. I mean, he's very
Snowpiercer's already a
nihilistic.
comic book, so it's already.
Yeah, like I see a lot of nihilistic,
Mm,
tones in his movies too. I mean, and plus he's like brings an interesting quality of like the foreign director
yeah.
aspect. Like, but I love his movies. I mean,
I say
like just
I mainly did it for the whole like
Snowpiercer,
no, it was more for Parasite where
Parasite. Okay.
because no side on that is particularly good. There's no good guy and bad guy in that movie. It's
Yeah.
all just a bunch of assholes. But
It's
they're all
it's just perception, right?
yeah, and it's like it's all justifiable. So I feel like that's a very good mindset to have for especially because the Illuminati aren't good people. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, they're superheroes and they're supposed to be the good guys, but they do some horrific shit. Like, it's bad.
Well,
It's
yeah,
really...
because they make some really I don't know, crazy decisions. Like, I mean, it's not just like, hey, what am I going to eat for lunch today? It's like, oh, I wonder which world we have to destroy, or
Yeah.
you know,
What universe numbers today? So yeah,
yeah,
David Finch is definitely an interesting choice. I like that one.
yeah. I just like I like I don't know, like I've always wanted to see what he would do with with uh with with like just like mainstream characters. I mean, I don't know if he would do it, but like it'd be interesting to see what he would do.
See, I've never gone in this with the thing. Oh, would they do it? It's like no. It's just like this is what I'd want to see.
Yeah.
So what they want to do or not. Like this is what I'd want them to do. Right. Now for the interesting bit. Is who's your lineup? Who's your lineup?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the obvious one, Black Panther, Doctor Strange. Now, these are where it gets kind of like I don't know, maybe interesting to people, but like I just like it just feels a little different, and some of these characters feel like that would be their natural step if they would do
Yeah.
something like that. Um, Of course, I'm gonna go with Charles. Since we've
Obviously.
already introduced him, and like he has been in that type of position before,
Yeah, yeah.
The next one would be Captain Marvel.
Ooh.
Carol Danvers. Yeah, like I think she brings that whole like intergalactic aspect to that group.
Yeah.
That that maybe Black Bolt would have done or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, the next one would be Nick Fury.
Interesting.
Because he's used to that world. He's
Yeah.
used to that whole like I'm gonna I live in the shadows type of thing, and
Mm.
like I feel like when they bring bring this like this whole group to the MCU, it's gonna make sense for who the characters are in that universe versus like the characters in like what you think a comic book is.
Yeah.
And then the next one is kind of I feel like an odd choice, but like it kind of feels right. And it might seem kind of weird, but like I want to go with Hank Pym.
I've seen a ton of people say Hank Pym for the Illuminati, and I
Yeah,
I get why. I can't see him being on it. Is the
yeah.
like as a character? Like,
Well, the only reason I picked him is because he's so cynical already.
yeah,
Um, he's
yeah.
cynical. I mean, the way the character's portrayed in the MCU, he's very cynical.
Mm.
He's
Very
almost
Hank
on the
Pym.
verge.
Very
Yeah,
Hank.
he's almost on the verge of doing that anyway. So like, why not push him over the edge? He's similar to the MCU character, but he's kind of different from what the comics were too.
Yeah.
But I think he would fit in that because of like his experiences, like his knowledge of the. I picked some of these characters because of like the aspects of what they would bring to that group. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Carol brings the intergalactic thing. Fury brings that whole like the human aspect. He's almost like I don't know. He's the opposite of what Captain America is, but he also represents that aspect
Mm.
of humanity or something like that. And then like Hank, seeing that seeing that he has experience in like the mic the what is it they call it, the microverse? Or
It's supposed to be the microverse. They called it the quantum realm.
the quantum realm. Yeah, that's right. He represents that aspect of the like I just feel like all of it. You put them all together, and it's like almost like it's like ingredients for a
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
Like like they all represent aspects of like very significant parts of what the MCU has already brought.
Mm.
You know, I don't know. That was like my idea of
Interesting. I was expecting until I literally just clocked on here that you can't do Tony and Steve, but I'm more
well, yeah,
I'm more
that's
like traditional. The Hank Pym
yeah.
one surprised me with people that were saying that, and I think that's the biggest bit.
I like I said, like I try to find, because like the way the MCU version of Nick Fury is, he's cynical, but he also has like a conscience. So like I
Yeah,
could see
yeah.
him being that like a very very subdued Captain America from the
Hmm.
comics, where
He's
he
more
is.
Nick Fury Jr. He's not Nick Fury Senior.
Yeah. He's not like, all right. I mean, he does what he has to do for the greater good, but he also is conflicted by doing a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not just like I'm just gonna do it, and not think about it. I feel like he like because of all the characters. I mean, maybe Black Panther would bring that aspect more, but like he's kind of like I don't know, like the way he is in the MCU, he's a little bit different than he is in the comics. In my opinion, where he's not like as. I mean, I feel like he's ready to make that difficult choice versus what the comic counterpart is. Because the
Yeah,
comic counterpart, he was always he was kind of like what Captain America was before Captain America joined the group. You know,
yeah.
but I don't know. And then like with the Carol Danvers thing, it's like it's already well established that she's ready to do what she needs to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like like she knows what the greater good is, and she would make that decision. I mean, it's been characterized in. I mean, we've already seen it in Avengers Endgame, where she's like, I don't know if you're gonna see, like that one scene where they're doing that the hologram, thing where she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be. You're not gonna see me very often. There's something like that.
Yeah,
like,
it's you're not the only one, only planet out here dealing with this. Like they need me out here more than you need me down there.
Yeah,
which is ironic. Because at the end, they needed her. No.
And I wanted to. I thought about it, and I wanted to put Reed in there too. But like, I don't know.
I think that's what it is. I'm surprised you didn't put Reed in there.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I was just like, that would just be too. I don't know. I felt like too on the nose. Maybe I could replace Black Panther with Reed.
See, I would have said Hank Pym for Reed if I was going to.
I don't know. There's something about how
I love Michael Douglas Hank Pym being in charge of who lives and who dies in a multiverse.
Because he's like grumpy, like I guess if I can change things, I would put Reed Richards instead of Black Panther. Can I do that?
I mean, it's your movie. You can do what you want.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and take out Black Panther because now that I'm thinking about it, that I don't know. To me, Reed Richards is a little bit better choice. Yeah, that's pretty much what I like. I thought about.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping you having both Black Panther and Reed Richards at the same time.
It's true. I mean, you could eventually add Black Panther into the group.
I put a slash on the list, so you got you got both. You can have either
He's
one.
An alternate.
Yeah, it's on there. Interesting lineup. I can say right now we only agree on 2. Really, 2 out of my 7 ain't bad. No. But as I said, the end of the Inhumans one, Black Bolt Medusa a package still. So
yeah,
if you're gonna have one, you need to put it on there. But
she's the mouthpiece, right?
exactly. She's also the better one. Let's be honest here. Medusa have a Black Bolt. Yeah. So mine, Black Panther. I had to agree on that one. He's the most obvious one for me. As I said, Black Bolt Medusa. Captain Marvel is the other one we agree on, and it's literally the same reasons. Like if you got to kind of split them up into different aspects, kind of like matching the Infinity Stones. So if you can have space, then Captain Marvel. Even though you could say the Inhumans are space, and maybe another one I have in a minute, but it all works. But where I go, actually no, I got Neymar next because I think you need a Neymar Black Panther dynamic, and I want Reeves like Keanu Reeves as Neymar. I think he's perfect for that role. Yes, he's on a slightly older side, but in the Jason Aaron Avengers run currently, Neymar looks like Keanu Reeves.
Well, I mean, Namor is kind of ageless at this point, though, right? He's kind of like he's kind of like a Wolverine type character where he's kind of like older than he looks, So.
Yeah. And also with Keanu Reeves, no one can complain that you just cast another white guy. It's like, well, he's throw a dart at a map, and that's Keanu Reeves has some of that in him. He's the melting pot.
He's a true word of mutt, when it comes to he's just like a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
I'd say
he's definitely
his mother's English. I want to say his dad's like Chinese Hawaiian.
Chinese, yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And his granddads and grandmas on the other side are all over the place. And it's just like, you know what? If you cast Keanu Reeves, no one's going to complain because A, it's Keanu Reeves. And B, if you don't get representation from Keanu Reeves, you're not from this planet.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's the most adored person on the planet at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so shirtless Keanu Reeves going, you know you're one. Keanu Reeves a lot of
It's better than that Cajun look that Tom Cruise has, man.
Oh god. But and my last 2 actually, Scarlet Witch, I went for her over Doctor Strange, just because I don't know. I feel like she's getting her own show, but I want her to have like a bigger role after that.
Mm, yeah, I
So
mean, she might be the successor to Doctor Strange. Who knows?
exactly who you just don't know. She's in the movie, so who knows? And lastly, because I don't think you could have something like this without someone from this group, and that's Ajax.
Okay, Eternal too.
Mm-hmm. Give me Selma Hayek
Yeah,
deciding who
and,
lives and who dies. Like shady
and
Selma Hayek, man, give me that.
what makes sense about that is like, I mean, she's the leader of that Eternals, and like, it makes sense to have like one of the oldest, you know, people in the world in charge, like kind of in charge of like the fate of the world, you know, like
I say my line of thinking, actually looking at it, I didn't. This is completely by accident. They're all leaders, bar Scarlet Witch,
yeah,
but we don't know where Scarlet Witch is going to be. Like, obviously, the Doctor Strange is still going to be about, but doesn't mean Scarlet Witch isn't going to have a massive prominent role.
oh yeah, she'll be pretty prominent for foreseeable future. So.
Good. 'Cause that's what I mean. So yeah, that's they're my 6/7. Even though I count.
That's that's interesting. That's interesting. I like the. It's all over the place. A little bit here, a little bit there.
I would have put Charles on it, but I don't know.
Too on the nose, right? It's too easy to put.
I think it's a bit too easy for Charles, especially that because I'm trying to still think of like where I left mutants in my MCU. Like, would that Charles want to integrate? Probably because it's Charles.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like it's
like
very
my
different.
thought was, I was gonna say like my thought was like putting him on there should kind of evolve him into the like the dawn of like the powers of X Charles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, just being in that group is just like, and he's again he's never been portrayed. I don't think honestly, he's sort of like what Reed is. Reed is like the guys he could be. He's like a hair's thin away of becoming like a super villain,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, and like Charles is basically the same, you know. Like he makes some really 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 messed up choices that like. You know, you're like, as a reader, you're like reading it, and you're like, what? This guy's a scumbag, you know? Or like, he does things just to, and like, I think, yeah, yeah, you know, he's, I think he started doing that in the late '90s, man, where he just makes.
Yeah, Marvel kind of realized it's like this guy's not exactly a good guy.
Yeah,
Like, he's done some shady stuff. Like, let's just lean into that, make it more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, it's more interesting to see the character that way than what he was in the set. Like, I like the earlier stories of the character, but like, let's face it, boring. You know, like cookie cutter good guy. You know, like in.
It's like, very of the time. Very of the time.
Yeah, and it's like if this person existed, he wouldn't be that way. He would be more of what the character is now versus what he was. You know.
I say it's more interesting to play the one man's hero, the other man's terrorist. It's far better.
Well, like if you look at like if you look at like Magneto and Charles, they are two people of the same coin. I mean, like they're no different. There's like a very very hair thin difference between those two characters. You know, one is one literally does evil right in front of your face, and like Charles is the one that does it kind of behind your back.
Yeah, I agree. But to move on from that, the interesting bit is who. I'm reluctant to say villain of the story because arguably the Illuminati are the villain of the story, but the reason why, going back to why I picked Bong Joon-ho, was you want that like moral ambiguity between everything. So it's like, I suppose what's the reason that you have this group? Like, what are they thinking they need to stop for the greater good? The antagonist is probably the best word for it. It's not a villain; it's just an antagonist.
And it's hard for this kind of group because it's like, I mean, if you read all the stories, it's like you can almost pinpoint the group as being the bad people, you know.
Absolutely.
I don't want to. I don't. I don't think I want to say right away. I kind of want to get into that whole like the incursion stuff.
You
But
want to
like
jump to
it's
the incursions? Interesting.
no.
Really?
I want to, but I don't think I would.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I don't think I would because it's just that's the type of thing because like that's the type of thing that kickstarts Secret War anyway. So you can't
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
jump right into that. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to do what they did in like if you remember the first miniseries
Yep.
of theirs, um, I kind of want to flip it and not instead of the scrolls being it was the Kree more
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Kind of just flip it a little bit, because like you know, I kind of like what they're doing with the scrolls right now, and it's interesting, more interesting than what they did in the comic. And I
Yeah.
feel like if you use the Kree in that situation and just replace the Kree with the scrolls with the Kree, you can get the same results.
Yeah.
And like I kind of want it to just start out like all of them gathering around the table, and it just kind of like I don't want to say flashbacks, but just kind of gives you a brief look at how this all started.
Yeah. So would you do
And
what the comic did and have one of them be a scroll?
well, you can't. I couldn't do it because of like the scrolls are in the
Or
script. The scrolls
no,
really
yeah, scroll. Yeah. You said
wouldn't be
Kree.
the antagonist, so
Mm.
much. Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could use the scroll as like as a replacement. Maybe have the Nick Fury character as a scroll and just kind of
Mm.
just kind of reveal that's why people don't trust Nick Fury as much because like you don't know who you're talking to if it's a
Yeah.
real Nick Fury or not. But like I think I want to do what the comic did, but just use the Kree, and like
Yeah.
the Kree were basically going to invade Earth, and then that they were the only people between that and that happening,
Yeah.
or maybe just use that as like um, I don't know, like maybe go a little bit more into what the first Captain Marvel did with the Kree hunting down the scrolls, and kind of go into that a little bit more and flesh that part out, and just kind of like see how the Kree were hunting the scrolls, and that the Illuminati were like if the next step was invading Earth. If they got all the scrolls, that Earth was our next target or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. With
But like use
I
it
feel
kind
like
of as a flash.
a flashback. Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say I feel like we've done very similar, not ideas, but the reasoning behind that, or the
Yeah,
approach is very similar. It's very
yeah,
similar. Very early door, like Bendis Illuminati. So,
yeah. Because I think out of all their stories, I think I really attached myself to that miniseries because I thought it
mm.
was really fun to watch, read. Um, but I would definitely have the Black Swan very lurking behind the scenes.
She was. I love that character.
Yeah, because like she was the one of the biggest parts of the incursion, and like
Yeah, she played a
what better
massive
time
part. Massive part.
Yeah, and you kind of want to introduce that character to the general audience before you start, going full blown. Like, and I'm not saying use her. I would use her very sparingly, but I would try to introduce her in that first movie. But
Yeah,
just the idea
yeah.
of her, or the idea of her, the Beyonders, stuff like that,
The whole
like just kind
cabal.
of, yeah, and just kind of set it all up, just the Cabal could be. I feel like the Cabal would be more of like the second movie, like
Fair,
that
fair.
that
Yeah,
that that they've been hinted at that there is like a similar group out there that is kind of like the polar opposite of what the Illuminati are, and like you could 100% that's a one way to bring back like a character like Thanos is like, hey, he never really died, or he came
yeah,
back,
yeah, yeah.
or whatnot, and I would I don't want to go too much into what I would do with the second movie, but I would definitely do something similar
Planting
to
the
what they
seed.
did.
Just planting the seed. Like.
I would plant the planting of the seed would be like the deception of one of the characters in the Illuminati being kind of a turncoat. Like
Interesting. Yeah.
kind of a turncoat. You know, not so much like what I mean, sort of like what Namor did, because Namor really, I don't know,
Namor's Namor.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he does exactly what you think Namor would do in that series, but like I'm not using Namor, so I would have to try to figure out like one of the characters, you know,
Say,
like
looking at your lineup, that's a very hard choice you got to make on that one.
Yeah,
You got a very hard choice to make. Very hard choice to make.
I mean, I kind of know who I want to do it with.
Save that for
like,
next.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. But like, because I mean, the MCU played really fast and loose with a lot of storylines, like famous storylines, and made them into movies. So like, it's not like unheard of to do something like this. So that's what I would do. Like, just kind of use that first like couple issues as like a blueprint for that movie, and like that way I'm gonna hint at. You just see him in shadows. You don't really see you see him above. You don't see the face, but you know that these characters are coming. So, that's what I would do.
Interesting. Good idea. I like it. Definitely watch it. As I said a minute ago, you know, very, very similar approach to Howard, but I've gone not right for the start, but just after it, where you know how Tony shoots the Hulk into space.
Yeah.
And then you have World War Hulk, and 3 out of the 5 issues for that series is trying to get the Sentry up to go fight.
Yeah.
I want to flip that. So I want to introduce the Sentry in this movie. Because you kind of... the Sentry's... He kind of needs his due. I know he's a very controversial figure in Marvel. People love him, people hate him. But I think he brings something different to the table.
Yeah.
And like
I like
the whole dual personality of everything. It's like I think you can you know what better way to show that these guys are, you know, a bit morally ambiguous than going after like a mentally unstable person.
Yeah. So that's just a great idea, because I always like the Sentry as a character, because it's like he's not like I don't know, he's such a dual person, you know, like he can go either way, and like either way, if he goes either way, he's a very powerful person. So like suppressing that person is probably the right thing to do, but it's kind of fucked up to do.
Exactly. But before anyone asks, I've gone for a right left field person for the Sentry.
I'm so jealous I didn't think of that shit. I'm so jealous.
But this is gonna tilt some heads, and people might get tilted in general. Bradley Cooper.
Nah, I like it.
You look at that guy in American Sniper, dude is huge.
Well, I mean, he is shredded. I mean, naturally, like you look at that guy, and like you could put one of those yellow spandex suits on, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I believe he's the, you know, you put a
bit of longer hair. Yeah.
No, for sure. I definitely like, and you know what the good thing about him though is that he could probably play both roles.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. That's kind of why I was like, you should look at American Sniper. He's very much that like PTSD. He's not really all there because of everything that's going on. If you play the Sentry right, you could make it so you have to do like the secret history angle with Sentry. You can't shy away from it. So if you make it like Captain America, he's out of time, he's this, it's just gonna compound.
It's gonna be hard.
State, especially like when they go, oh yeah, the government's locked you away for X amount of years.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, like, the perfect thing about this character is like it's so easy to explain that he was always around.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like zero holes. Like you could say, yeah, this guy's been around, but he's been suppressed for this long, and then he's finally kind of flipped up. You know.
Like maybe have like something Wanda does releases the
Oh,
void, and the void goes to the Century, and that's why he's just suddenly woken up now? No.
I mean, look, I'm telling you, the upcoming TV show could be a catalyst for that very thing.
Don't
Because of
don't do that.
well,
Don't do that.
no, I'm not saying anything inside or anything like that. But if you were gonna do something like that, that is the perfect spark for that. Because I mean, look, I'm not saying anything that nobody else knows about this show. It's gonna be crazy and it's gonna be impactful to everything else. And like when they say stuff like that, they actually really mean it about this TV show. So like this could very well be a very good jumping off point for that character. You put a little CGI in him to kind of thin him out for the Reynolds character.
Yeah, the whole Bobby Reynolds. Yeah.
And then but like I mean, he's so jacked. Do it, man. Oh, that's so perfect. It's perfect. I might have to take that.
I mean, if you can just like Cooper's never.
I'll give you credit, man. I'll give you credit.
I mean, I'd rather the check. If you can give me the potential check.
You'll be a consultant. How about that? I mean, but that's such a great idea, and like up to this point, he's been kind of underutilized. He's only been used. As Rocket's voice, and it's like it's kind of perfect because like no one's seen who he is. So like I mean, he could very well do. He's one of the actors that could get away with getting to using two different roles without anybody questioning it. Like
potentially three, because I'd have him be the Void as well.
I mean, why not? Let him put them all together. Like why? I don't see the reason why you would make the three characters different. Use one actor and for all the. I mean, look, it's been done before. I mean, almost Doctor Strange. Cumberbatch has been Dormammu. Dormammu. Yeah.
Or Dormammu, as like Kevin Smith said.
But like, why not? It's perfect. I like it. I love it.
My only problem is
Very jelly.
I never see Bradley Cooper as a Sentry. He would never do it.
You never know, dude. You never know. Like,
right. Pitch it to Feige. Dump a ton of money on Bradley's front garden.
But dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I am very well much gonna suggest this next time. I won't take full credit, but I like it's like I have a hard time seeing anybody else though. Like. Like
I almost went for a Brad Pitt, but I was like, it's slightly on the older side. If it was maybe like 10 years ago, I think Brad Pitt could have nailed the Century.
Yeah, I mean, out of the two, I would, if I had a choice, I would definitely pick Cooper. Cooper's the right age. He's the right build. I mean, I'm not saying like Brad Pitt's like chiseled like a Greek guy. Don't get me wrong, but like looking at Bradley at. Like, when he was bulkier in American Sniper, it didn't look like fat. It would look bulk, Like, he looked jacked, man, And, like, the problem with Pitt is he's a slim.
That's kind of why I ended up on Cooper. I was like...
He's more of a slimmer build, and, like, I like Cooper because that body, like, we've seen what he looks like when he's, like, super jacked.
Yeah, you want that, good. Like... Because I had three. I had Henry Cavill, Cooper, and Pitt. The reason I didn't go Cavill, I know it's stealing him from Superman. I kind of want him to be Hyperion.
I mean, look, never know.
Like, he's essentially Hyperion in Man of Steel anyway.
Yeah.
But he's my Hyperion. I'm dead set on him being that. Like, it's like.
But the Sentry, I think. I was gonna say the Sentry is like more of a meteor role than anything. I mean, like like whoever does the Sentry. It has to be a really good actor.
Yeah.
Because there's like three distinct different personalities there. So, and I think Cooper pulls it. I think he can do it. I mean, look at some of his even older movies, man. Like, what was that movie he did with Jennifer Lawrence? Silver Lining Playbooks.
Yeah.
Silver Lining.
Yeah.
I mean, he played a crazy guy very well,
I think that's definitely who I'd want to kickstart this movie.
Very jelly.
Yeah, that took me a full week to think of that.
I will not let anybody know that somebody outside. Just kidding. No. If I ever seriously, they're like that's such perfect casting. I mean, kudos.
Just be warned. If it shows up as Bradley Cooper, I have this as evidence.
Oh yeah. This is video, audio evidence.
So, no.
No.
I will be taking on the mouse. No.
I'll give you credit completely. I heard it from a guy that I did a podcast with. You should hire him, man. He's got great eyes.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. I'll be.
I mean, after the pandemic thing.
Yeah, I'll be. Is it Sarah Finn who does the casting?
Yeah.
So I'd take over. I'd be a successor. Got no problem with that. And I'd only take half the pay. Just half. That's fine.
Just give me free access to Disney Plus, free Disney World passes, and a couple $1,000, and you're good, man. I
mean, it'd be a lot more than a couple of thousand. I'll tell you right now. At least 6 figures. At least
$1 million. And when you ask for $1 million, put your pinky up to your mouth, you know.
Oh yeah. But,
Dr. Evil up.
So yeah, I wanting to kind of do the reverse of World War Hulk. I kind of want them to go get Banner, and Banner being really against the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe have Banner join the team as well, but I'm not sure about that. I think Banner's too pure at this point.
Yeah, he's too kind of a goody now. So,
he's too bad for that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But obviously, maybe not have the Void in this one, but however they get rid of the Sentry, because I'd want him shut off into the sun, ideally, which is never a good idea with the Sentry, because it's kind of...
It's like recharging a battery to $1 million.
It's like, he's already got a power, an exploding sun. What's giving him the sun going to do?
It's kind of like that scene in the first Avengers when Thor hits Iron Man with the electric, and then it just goes up to 400%.
Exactly that. But, I suppose you could do it they trap him in the sun. It's Wanda who puts a seal around it, and accidentally that seal is the Void, or it makes the Void, and you can play it off that way. Just let him metaphorically and literally cook for a little bit, and then when he's ready, bring him back.
And the best part about the character is that it also kind of gets into that whole mental illness message thing, where this. I mean, this is what happens when you give a superhero split personality disorder, on top of PTSD. This is what you truly get. It's when you give Superman PTSD.
It's very Moon Knight, but it's a very different type.
This is much more cosmic. I mean, it's one thing to have a guy that's beating people up on the streets that has mental illness. I mean, that's still gonna be a powerful message. But then you compact that with giving the guy the powers of Superman.
Making the guy dead. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically,
it's kind of Dr. Manhattan-y, really.
Yeah.
A different angle.
A little bit. A little bit, yeah. Or actually, I guess not Ozymandias, but I don't know. Yeah, that's such a great idea. I'm sorry. I'm. It's just it's such a great character to kind of use, because the Sentry is kind of a good one to. It's going to be easy for them to introduce because of the whole he could have been here the whole time, situation.
He was just locked in the core of the earth because Shield scumbags.
Or he was just living a mundane life until one day,
I mean, that you could take that from the recent miniseries. They made his own little pocket dimension for him.
Yeah. And
Bob Reynolds every day at 5 p.m. after work has to go and live in this little pocket dimension.
Well, that's good too, but you could almost just make it as simple as he just doesn't know who he is.
I mean, there is that, yeah.
I mean, that's simple. You don't have to really explain it too much, because I mean, that would be awesome to see. But then you got people asking. I don't know. It just seems a little bit more streamlined to have him just have him, have Wanda kind of give him magical amnesia, kind of block everything, You know,
Put a
from
put a
like
bit of a Charles on the Jean.
yeah, yeah.
Makes the Jean Grey comparison in the movies like that a little bit more. Just like
Mental rape is not good, man.
no,
So,
really not. So yeah, that's the bulk of my movie. That's where I'd want to take it.
fucking very jealous, man. That was a like that kind of like put me back. I was just like, wow, why didn't I think of that?
I just want to do something different. I completely forgot that World War Hulk was maybe not majority, but a lot of it was just trying to get Bob Reynolds to agree to stop this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like I saw someone say it, and I'm like, you know what? Actually, the Sentry's a really good thing for an Illuminati movie.
Yeah.
So shout out to that one comment I saw. I couldn't tell you if it was on Twitter, if it was on Reddit. Couldn't tell you who you posted it, but you gave me the idea, or the inspiration, I should say, the inspiration for the idea, not the actual idea itself.
Unfortunately, you're not gonna get as much credit as if it happens.
I mean, it's fine. I still take 6 figures.
The credit? No, I'm saying like to that guy, like he'll just get anonymous credit for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he just brought up World War Hulk. That was all it was.
And you just expanded it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's such a. I mean, like it kind of was. Like when you were just saying it, I was like thinking to myself, man, why that? This is such a no-brainer idea. Why didn't I think of that? But it's such a great idea. I like that. I love it.
Well, thanks. I feel I peaked.
You did, well, I mean, who knows?
I'll never top that now.
You could drop more mind bombs next week. So.
Well, hopefully, I've got to think of something like that. But
you gotta top it now, man. Like you got a high bar to.
I am gonna nick one of your ideas though, because you mentioned Black Swan.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I think you need to do the Cabal, the Cabal before the Incursions. I think you can't do it. You can't save the Cabal for a third movie. It's got to be in the second one.
Yeah, I mean, like we'll go into it next time, but like I feel like the Cabal could be just mirror versions of each character.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind bringing back some characters that are gone to this group. Some might not make sense to everybody, but like it kind of made sense to me when I was thinking about it. But like
I've already started thinking. I've got at least one person.
I got a couple. I mean, there's one that's a no-brainer. I'm pretty sure people will guess, but like it's a character that look. And I'll just say it now. Like, look, Thanos is coming back regardless. Eventually, I'm sure. Like, it's too big of a character not to come back in some way, shape, or form. Why not? Yeah. Why not bring it back in this fashion? You know. And like, but I felt like the Black Swan thing. I mean, it's. I don't think it's too early to try to plant the seeds of this character being.
No. I was just thinking, kind of along the lines of what you were for a post credit. You know, just have Black Swan show up in that. And you know you got to have a turncoat. And
well, like what I was gonna say is like at the end of the movie, like I don't show any characters like directly. I just there's characters there in the room, but you don't see what the characters look like. You see what the characters, I mean, the silhouettes look like, you know, for the most part. But like if you look at like how I want the post credits to be. Like if you're paying attention, you'll probably know exactly who those characters are. But like, it's not. There's no like straight on like front view of what the characters in the Cabal would be. It's just hey, just to get you excited for the next one. You know, these are like because I mean if you look at the character like in my mind when I'm seeing this, I'm seeing a dark room. I'm seeing very like it's all like. The faces are blotted out in darkness, but you can see the silhouettes and you can see color. So, like, if you look at it, you know who it is. It's just like, or maybe not. You know, like some characters, you might not know who they are until it's been revealed. You know, but like, yeah, I mean, I feel like the character needs to. This is a perfect time to kind of introduce the character, or at least introduce the idea of the character.
Yeah. I think I know I did it for Inhumans with Black Panther showing up like a Nick Fury style, but I think aping that again is probably the easiest idea. And you can keep it all dark, you can keep it all like very dimly lit, but it's got, from me anyway, it's got to be Namor. Why else would I have Namor on a team?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, like,
you
well,
can,
I think mine. Yeah, the turn good for me is, I don't know. You might expect it, you might not expect it. I mean, but like, I can just tell you this: the character is. I mean, if you know the character, you probably are going, yeah, okay, I get it. It's not. It's not. I
fair.
mean, like, and like, but you got to realize, like, I'm not going to use the turncoat as like he's an evil person, or
No,
maybe he is an evil person, but like traditionally you probably wouldn't associate with him like with this. But then like you think about it, if you're a fan of any comics, then you'll go, I get why he's there, and I get
yeah.
why he's doing it.
Well, I mean, you said it's a he, so that narrows it down.
Yeah, yeah. Is there? Well, I mean, is there? I didn't know if I put any sheet on there. So.
I mean, you put Captain Marvel on there.
Ah, shit. Okay. Fair enough.
You should have said hey. But then again, I think
Maybe I'll change one.
Was it just Captain Marvel who had?
Yeah, I think it was just.
Yeah, so it narrows it down to everyone but one. So you're still fine.
Not bad.
No, I definitely have. The hell is that?
What is it?
I have no idea what the hell that was, but someone just rambled down the road. Yeah, I want like Black Swan showing up. Like you can do it in Atlantis, have Namor. You haven't got to show who it is, because quite frankly, I don't know who I want as Black Swan yet, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, me too.
No, it just kind of like extends the invitation, because you can have tensions run high in the movie with Namor and everyone else, because it's Namor and everyone else. So like, oh, I've been watching you. I've been doing this. Like, we're a more similar sort of. You play that sort of cheesy like villain angle, and you can do it that way. But you have like all that bioluminescence in Atlantis lighting her up, and you can really just make out she's like a pure white, like ashy skin tone.
Yeah, pasty white.
But I'd only have her. I wouldn't have like a hint to what she's setting up. Obviously, it's the cabal because you said it, but I just have her show up on her own and do that. Like, not even say to like Namor what she's really doing. It's like, hey, and then.
Well, I can tell you this though, like in my version, like it's not all about them.
Yeah,
they're there. It's just not all about them. It's just setting up the idea of, well, what's to come, down the line.
Interesting. So right, that's gonna bring us and then to this one. So I hope everyone.
Me rambling on.
I hope everyone enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I did.
It was fun. It was fun to talk about. That's for sure.
It's a very, very different one to what, because you got to think differently for what you do for an Illuminati movie. But let us know, who do you want, like director, cast, characters that you'd want, if you're gonna have anyone new in there we haven't seen yet, what the plot is and all of that. Let us know. I'll be interested to see. I want to know how people take it, because since it's come up, there's been a lot of very samey like teams. Everyone's like, oh, you've got to have this and that. It's just like, if you've got a different one, put it down below. I want to know.
Yeah. The spitball here.
And if I nick an idea, I'll give you credit.
Full credit.
Because I give people credit, you see.
It's true.
Got to pay you.
I don't. I don't at all. I completely.
But it's alright, because I'll just be like, hey.
I'm joking. I would never take all the credit.
Monday the 3rd of August at 5:33 p.m. BST.
There is audio proof of this.
It is timestamped. It's dated.
Considering where I'm at, it's a verbal contract, so I would
exactly, and that's legally binding all over the place. And that's completely people are gonna be like hearing this on Saturday, being like, "What are they doing on a Monday?" Do it on a Monday.
There was a reason.
You get it at the weekend. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed it and comes back for the second part, because there will absolutely be a second part of this one, because it's going to go interesting.
For sure.
So we'll catch you all in a week, and yeah, bye.
Bye.